Hey all, welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Colton here with Brandon.
Hi.
This video is like a hard-boiled egg. It comes to you in three parts. Part 1, Budapest Trios. 12 teams. 8 of them made top 8 because, sure. Winning decks, Bremerton, Bismarck. Hey, we've seen that Bremerton level 1 somewhere before. 8 Pants, Lyco Recco, and Kanata Marine Hololive. And again, Brandon,
Yep.
it's another Cats Bremerton list.
It's in the top seat too.
Mark, what have you done? For those of you who might have missed last week's episode, we talked with the winning team from Chicago, which featured a Bremerton level 1 with the Cats level 0 package in Azure Lane, and it's really gross for a bunch of reasons that we got into. So we're not going to go into it here, but constant soul rush, a lot to hate in this particular version of Azure Lane, but it's very effective at doing what it does, which is pushing a whole bunch of damage all game long. Also in the first place team, 8 Pants, Lego Recco, and Kanata Marine Hololive. Second place, 8 Salvage Quince, 8 Salvage Lego Recco, and 8 Standby Overlord. So, seeing some different flavors of some stuff here at the top table in Hungary. Kanata Marine, a bit of a throwback. 2 different versions of Lyco Recco and an 8 Standby Overlord. The Standby variant was popular for a second. There were some people who rather liked the Albedo top end. Anti-auto on a Trouble Girl, basically. So, kind of a fun piece, but ultimately the Ainz was just way too powerful for people to play anything else. But it is the 8 Standby Overlord list getting second place here. Ari Ferreira. Stock Soul 2 Soul Bar. 8 Pants Quince. Jimeno Chainsaw. Chainsaw Man, so not playing the Aki finisher, playing the Chainsaw finisher instead. Modernia Biscuit Nikkei. 8 Salvage Bunny Girl. And a third Lyco Recco, this time splitting the difference between Salvage and Pants. And again, like, in a 12-team regional, 8 teams making top cut, there's just not enough to go off of in terms of like trying to interpret what any of this means. If you want a deeper dive at the Hungary regional, Avis of Weiss Tea Time was there. Her team made top 8. She was on the Eno list again, alongside an 8 Salvage Anniversary Bang Dream list. And Chloe Muna Hololive, which actually, I really, really like this Muna finisher. It's gotten overshadowed just because of how powerful everything else is in Hololive. But it's basically on attack, reveal the top card if it's a character, burn 4, or at the end of the card's attack, if you got a reverse, you can pay 1, burn 2. So it's like a selective burn based on what you need. Kind of fun, maybe not quite as good as some of the other finishers in Hololive, but if it was in any other set, I think that finisher would probably see more play. But yeah, if you want a better look at what happened in Hungary, go watch Avis's video. We will link it in the description. Rest of top 8, Freerun, Slime, Nikkei, Bochi, Shauna, Oshinoko, another Nikkei, Blue Archive, and Rurouni Kenshin getting what I believe is its first top of the season. Moving on to talk about what was probably the most important event for Weiss in the last week. The Summer Solstice. The second year of the Summer Solstice in Ohio. We could not make it. We wanted to be there. It looks like so much fun. And it's such a cool event. So many really good players are there as well. Like, it's actually a very competitive event. But at the same time is strictly a, like, shop level, like, unsanctioned event. And these are the kinds of things. I love these events. Like, take Bushiroad out of the equation entirely. Let's do our own thing. And play what we want to play. JP as well. So you can play more than just your English cards if you play any JP. But they did like regular Swiss rounds on Saturday with a top cut. And then on Sunday they did trios, but they did something called points trios, which I think is really fun. where all the sets are put into different tiers and awarded different points, and your team is not allowed to spend, quote unquote, more than 5 points on their team makeup. So if you have something like if one of your teammates wants to play Quince, that's a 2 point set, your other two players can't spend more than 3 points combined on their two decks. So very cool. Like I think it's a really fun way of kind of forcing some diversity into a trios format. Like trios at the regional level tends to be pretty sharply divided between like the teams that are playing the three best decks in the meta, intentionally trying to win versus the people who are playing whatever they wanted, or the people who are playing the thing that, they think can surprise. So seeing something that kind of forces everyone to maybe not play the best deck in the room, or maybe, you only have one lane that's the best deck in the room, but, the other two people have to play something a little more off meta. That's pretty fun. I like that. I think it's a fun concept. And it seems like everyone else thought it was a fun concept too. They had 69 singles players, 69 trios players, so 23 teams, presumably, and 44 people played in their waifu tournament on Sunday as well. So also three different formats, which I love to see. Like, Weiss does not have enough formats, frankly. It'd be really fun to have more formats. Even if they aren't considered competitive, like Lost format is a thing that we've talked about in the past. Just aren't enough ways to play that aren't just Neo standard. So to incorporate a waifu format into this, as well as, of course, trios and, JP singles, this is a very cool event. We're going to try really hard to be there next summer. We couldn't make it happen this year. Really wanted to be there. But yeah, the Ohio Weiss guys, they put on a great tournament again. There was a live stream. We'll actually link the live stream in the description as well. So good stuff all around. A lot of really cool players were there. A lot of friends of the channel, friends of ours were there. So we're going to try really hard to make it next year. This is a very, very cool event, and we want to show our support for these kinds of unsanctioned events that still get all this community support. And then finally, we're going to wrap up by talking about the upcoming stream. This video should go out on August 7th, which means if you're watching it on August 7th, the English product stream has not happened yet. And Brandon, we're going to do something that we haven't done in a while. Give you an opportunity to talk.
Sure. With that stream coming out, wanted to go into some predictions of what we might see. Recognizing that on our calendar thus far, we only have two sets that have been announced that don't have dates. So for this upcoming stream, I expect both of those to get dates. The two sets that we have coming up that don't have dates are the Eminence and Shadow, which I expect to be in December, as well as Fujimi Bunko, which I actually expect to probably be a little bit more delayed than the following up set. I expect that to probably be more like March. I think they're going to kind of do that early announcement and then kind of get delayed a little bit further, kind of like what they did with Dengeki Bunko. Really trying to sell the hype of all of these different things happening with this set, but it doesn't get out until much later.
So kind of aside from those, we're looking at a very wide open stream. Could be any number of things, including stuff that was announced on the most previous JP stream. So it's been a long time since we've done predictions for a stream, usually because these are impossible to predict now. But yeah, let's get to it. Brandon, what do you think, other than the two dates, which we're in agreement on, they're going to announce the dates for the two?
I expect we'll also get one additional announcement in regards to sets. My guess is going to be ReZero 3,
Yeah,
and I think that's going to be coming out here in January, is my guess. Additionally, alongside that, I think we're going to get information for the upcoming season. That while this season is wrapping up, we're going to get that next season kind of real kickoff for it, in a sense. Just because this one is also wrapping up pretty quickly here. And by the time the next stream would come out, we should already be in the season for that.
Yeah, that makes sense. We should get some dates. We'll probably get a Worlds date as well. Like we probably won't have like regionals dates. We'll have like the months during which singles will take place, and that's particularly interesting this year because they are changing the schedule. Right? They expanded and moved Springfest to Summerfest, and it's going all the way into September. So we expect that Worlds will probably take place in May again. So probably looking at like November to April for the single season, so that the year is now bifurcated into 6 month periods, right? Like the 6 months of off season slash Summerfest, right? It's like Worlds ends early May, and then you know the Summerfest season wraps up end of September, and then sometime in October November the single season begins. So you have like this October to April single season with Worlds kind of being its own thing in the month of May. Realistically, like I would love to say that I think something super fun and different and weird is going to come out, but the most likely scenario probably is just ReZero 3. It's been good in JP. It's going to sell super well. Like, it makes sense. It just makes sense that it would happen, which is maybe a little boring, but I think it's the most reasonable prediction. There were a couple other things announced on the JP stream that I think would maybe make their way to English, even likely. Data Live Volume 3, which is confusingly Seasons 4 and 5, and also the fourth Data Live set, including Data Bullet. That is coming out October 3rd in JP. That's probably coming to English. Like, I'd be very surprised if it didn't. We've gotten all the DAL stuff before. Just expect that sometime in the spring. Rent a Girlfriend, happening October 31st in JP. I could see that coming to English. Like, I think one of the reasons Rent a Girlfriend wasn't super popular over here is because the set was egregiously bad. So, a second set I could see doing reasonably well. There is also an Overlord light novel set that they announced, a premium booster that's coming out late November. That one's a little weird, just because, like, we don't tend to get manga light novel stuff as much as we get anime stuff specifically. I don't know if it's licensing or whatever. There's some things we've gotten the manga versions for. Like, I didn't think we were getting Dragon Maid at all because it was almost exclusively manga stuff, but we got it anyway. So, been wrong on that before. So we'll see if Overlord gets additional cards. But those are probably the most likely things. I mean, I think Tails would be really interesting, but I don't necessarily expect Tails to make its way into English. But yeah, so there was some fun stuff announced in the JP stream that like could make its way over. But realistically, the most likely new thing to be announced in English specifically is probably just ReZero. I don't see anything else like that's been recently released that is gonna make it into English.
Like there are definitely some things that could make its way over, but there's been also a lot of very more sets you would expect for JP versus English. Yeah, I don't know.
There is a Overlord extra booster that exists, right? Like that came out in May. Blue Archive had a booster that I think is a second set announced. So like there's stuff that could happen, and like honestly, I don't know how much of a dark horse this would be, but Uma Musume did just get an English international release, and I think honestly it has been more popular than most people anticipated. Like the game has absolutely taken off. So I could see Uma in English. That's not impossible. The gotcha games don't tend to come over with their English ports in Weiss. So like I don't think it's necessarily likely. Like we've seen plenty of gotchas that did not make it into English. But yeah, it's at least, it's at least a thought. Like it could happen. But ReZero is definitely the most likely candidate. And I think if there's a second most likely candidate, it's probably the Overlord booster, not the light
I
novel one,
I think it's too
but
new.
the
If that's where I'm at with that one. That it's just
I could
yeah.
see it announced.
Like I could see potentially like Dandadan in that same area. That's like
That's
right around
also
that same
true.
time frame.
I did for yeah. I forgot. You're right. Dan to Dan also would make a lot of sense. I almost feel like it's been announced. Like that's how every time I remember, oh right, Dan to Dan isn't coming to English yet. It doesn't have an announcement yet. Every time it's brought up, like I have to remember that it hasn't been announced in English yet.
There's also like Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest, especially since we got the not quite reprint for it.
Yeah, since we get the Fairy Tale Secret Lair.
Potentially getting the actual Fairy Tale set to actually come through. Like I think that's also pretty high potential since they're likely already have the licensing right there. Those would be like the three I think that are pretty easy chew-ins, as well as like Oshinoko too.
That's right. We don't have an Oshinoko 2 announcement either. Man, it's so weird. Like there are so many of these sets that it feels like they've just been announced in English already and almost like I'm anticipating them happening at some point, but they haven't actually been announced. So no, Oshinoko 2 would make a ton of sense. Like it's a reasonably popular set, reasonably competitively viable. It'll sell, it'll do well. That makes sense.
Those are just some guesses. I think that they're generically reasonable ones to narrow it down between, but
Yeah. Yeah, which is why we're going to get Lucky Star.
or Eurocamp.
Dude, Eurocamp would be so cool. I can't lie. Eurocamp, knowing nothing about its competitive viability in JP because I don't play JP, I would just like to see Eurocamp because the show is cool.
That's when they surprise you and actually start sending out sneaker bunko.
I would be thrilled to get Sneaker Bunko. 8 Standby Haruhi. It is time. No, I'd be very happy with that. But yeah, I mean, shoot, give me Zombieland Saga while we're talking about stuff that will never happen. Like, honestly, ZLS is like the only modern ish set in JP that I would really, really want, I think, that I haven't gotten. But hey, if you believe hard enough that it won't come to English, Bushy Road might surprise you and send it to English anyway.
But so that's yeah, that's why I think those are the things that are coming and potentially with that. Um, like we have like the season, like this month time frame being like October to March for the singles events. It's just a matter of getting those dates actually out there, and I suspect that that'll be finally dropped in next week.
I don't anticipate that we'll get actual dates for a whole lot of events. We might have some, but probably not too many. We might get this is where they'll be, but no dates. That wouldn't shock me at all. Or we might get cities and weekends, but no venues. Like Bushiro tends to release these things very slowly in stages, not early enough as those of us who would like to schedule these things out in advance would maybe like them to. But yeah, so nothing too crazy going on this week. We're kind of in the lull of the Summerfest season, but that's about to end. The Jakarta event in Indonesia just happened last weekend as you're listening to this. It happened before we recorded this. I'm going to splice in what happened in Jakarta right here. Hey y'all, Future Colton here with that Indonesia update. Not a lot of teams showed up, so they had to split trios into singles again. We think there were about 15 players. They cut to top 8. 8 salvage. Bunny Girl was the winner. 5 Nikkei lists in top 8, including a standby bar in second, and 4 Modernia biscuits, including both third and fourth place. The rest of top 8, a pair of salvage bar overlords. Not a whole lot to talk about here, so we're going to kick it back to the main episode. Thank you for that, future Colton, who is also now past Colton. So that's everything that's going on in the competitive scene right now. Lots of events coming up soon. Texas, Toronto, Sydney, Manila, Netherlands. This is like the big weekend coming up. Like the 2 weekends, I guess, that probably have like the most competitive play kind of stacked. Right? You got 2 of the biggest regionals. You got the Australia regional, which is always big. As for what's coming up next from us next week, Braden did his deck video last week with you, Brandon. Next week, it's going to be you. And then we're going to have another clock talk. And then the week after that, it's going to be me. I'm going to have a deck tech. That's the plan. Anyway, we'll see if anything changes. But that is the plan as things stand right now. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And have a good one.
We'll see you then.